I'm going to take you through how to make a simple template in Word for gathering meeting minutes. Meeting minutes can be an important part of defining the progress of a project or solution that you're working on, capturing a discussion between a group of people, and making sure that everyone's agreed on and captured the right information. So I'm going to run through how to do that in Word. On the screen now is just a quick overview of the process that we're going to go through. We're going to look at the topic, the attendees, the action information, and then, of course, afterwards the minutes are distributed. So switching over to Word, the first thing I'm going to do is write down the title of our meeting. So we're going to have a space for subject. Actually, I'm going to change all of this font to something different so that we can have our meeting minutes stand out. So I'm going to use Arial. Okay, so subject of our meeting. The next is the dates, and we tab these across. So I'll put the marks on to show you. So subject, our great meeting. The date will be today. I'm recording this on the 12th of September. Then our venue. So my example meeting here was by teleconference because most meetings are by teleconference at the moment. Fortunately, we can't meet in person. Then we have the list of those present. My name's Chris, by the way, and this channel is called Engineered Upgrade, where I share some of the tools that I've learned over the years as an engineer to help make complex problems simple, to help define a solution, to communicate that solution, and to come up with new ideas. So my name's Chris, Engineer Upgrade. We're going to say you're in YouTube land. You're from, let's say, YouTube. And someone else who's from somewhere we don't know. Then we have any apologies. So apologies are our non-subscribers. So if that's you, please don't be an apology and please hit the subscribe button. Then we have our, sorry, I should explain. So I like to list out the organization that the attendees are from in brackets next to their names. That's what I've done here. So when you're in a meeting with people from 3 or 4 different companies and you're not sure who said what, it might be a good idea to put the name in brackets here. If you're not sure how to get the names, one method I've seen is to ask everyone to do a sign-in sheet when they come in. Alternatively, I usually do a lot of work in Asia where business cards are the norm, to hand out a business card for each person, and then you have the names recorded from the business card. So that's one way to get names. Alternatively, you can always put your hand up and ask. Please go through an introduction of who you are. Let's go around the table and introduce who everyone is and what we're doing here today. So that's a few different ways to get the list of attendees. Apologies are the people who weren't able to make it today but were supposed to come. So that's who goes in the apologies. Now the next thing to do is to set up how to record the minutes themselves. So I like to do this in a table that has four items. So we have an item number. Spell out the full thing. We have the item that was discussed, the discussion. We have the action, which party is to action the idea, and we have the status, which party is to action the discussion. So I'll just make this a bit neater. Discussions should be the longest. Action party can be smaller, and status can be smaller as well. Let's introduce some more parties actually. We're going to call this person from ABC Corp, from Engineered Upgrade, and from YouTube. Okay, so we've got 3 parties here, and we've got a few non-subscribers who are apologizing for not joining us. So in this box, we then record our meeting notes. Let's see, number 1, we talk about the awesomeness of meeting notes. There's no action for that because we're just discussing how good they are. So there's no, let's say it's keep in view. So we want to make sure that every meeting we remind ourselves how awesome meeting minutes are. Then like to record down, let's put some action items in there. So 2, you said you would ask everyone to subscribe. So that's an action on YouTube, and status is still open because you haven't asked other people to subscribe yet. So once you get around to that, we can close this item out. Now, I like to keep a record of meeting minutes like this with actions that can be open until they're closed so that we can follow up and make sure that everything was addressed from the meeting. I also find it important for the discussion items, such as this, for example, that the phrasing is important. So for example, I said meeting minutes are awesome, but that's not what I recorded here. I said awesome meeting notes. So that's a bit different. Now, if I was receiving this as a meeting minutes to comment on, I'd say, hey, wait a second, that's not right. We said meeting minutes are awesome. And this way, it's important to make sure that your discussion points, that your minutes are recorded properly so that you can are recorded the way you want them to, because this will be the official reflection of what happened in that meeting. So let's remove that. So the key point here is that we're building a table in Word. So I like to put a heading, I like to make the headings a bit clearer on a table. Let's pick a good table style. And I want just the top one bolded there. I also like to have my tables a little differently aligned. I like to use this alignment. Okay. Now let's put in a few more items. Item 3, someone else said they would do something. That's an action on ABC Corp. That's open. And let's say we discussed the items from the last meeting. So that's the basics of how to take minutes. There are typically 2 things you want to record. Points that were discussed relevant to your subject matter. So in this case, it's our great meeting, which means that when we discussed meeting minutes are awesome, that was a point to record. So things that might come up as record in the future, things that could be used as evidence of the discussion, important points to be noted, information to be distributed a bit more formally than email. And the other item to include is actions. So anytime a party has to do something. So they're the most important. Discussion points that are related to the subject of the meeting or the subjects that you're discussing, and actions that have to be taken. So friendly chatter or jokes that someone made, shouldn't need to record them, at least not in any meeting I've been in. So I come from an engineering consulting background, so I've had plenty of consulting meetings where really the only 2 things we want to record are points relevant to the subject matter and actions that people are taking. And those points to the subject matter are important for use as evidence later on when you're writing a report, when you're making a payment claim. They're the points that I like to record in a meeting and in the meeting minutes, because this document will be accepted by other people. The next item is some sort of schedule for the next meeting. So details for the next meeting, which we're going to put in, let's say the 19th of September. The time, actually we should put the time up here as well. Time is 1000 hours to 1100. Then time is 1000 to 1100 hours. Venue is teleconference. Okay, so that's the next meeting. Now there is one thing missing. I did say this was a controlled document, so we do want to add in a header and footer as well to make it look a bit more professional. So our header is going to be nice and simple, right aligned, and we're going to say engineered upgrade. Meeting minutes and confidential. Okay. And then at the bottom, we're going to put in a footer as well to say, actually, we should probably put in a line at the bottom here. Okay. And then at the bottom, we're going to do something similar. we're going to put a line across, and we're going to say insert the page number. Okay, so we insert the page number, and we're also going to put in a document number. So I did say this is a formal document, which means that it should have a document number on it so that people can reference it later on. We're going to call it EUM001. So just a reference number, because this can form part of a payment claim or part of a submission we make later on. So that's all the important points covered for setting up our meeting minutes template in Word. We've got our title block at the top. We've got our document number at the bottom. We've got our subject, our date, time, venue, present apologies, discussion items, action status, and where the next meeting is. So going back to how to take meeting minutes, that should align with our process here, where we've identified the attendees, we've listed out the topic, those attendees, the actions, the information that happened during the meeting, those discussion points. Then we distribute those meeting minutes for comment, we update and record, and those minutes become part of the project or solution. So that's how I take meeting minutes for a project using Microsoft Word. If you're interested in the template, please leave a comment below, and I'll see what I can do about distributing that template out. Otherwise, please hit subscribe because I'll be putting out more videos like this that aim to make defining complex problems simple, brainstorming new ideas, defining those solutions, and then communicating those solutions to others. So meeting minutes are one way that we communicate solutions, especially if we want to get paid for it. So please hit subscribe if you're interested in more ways to make complicated problems simple and communicate those simply. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video.